Let me tell you something, Pack Nation. They moved Dontayvion Wicks to Philadelphia for 2 day 3 picks. I am sitting in my recliner, staring at my phone like it said something bad about my mother. 2 day 3 picks. That is what Dontayvion Wicks cost in April of 2026. A pair of late round picks that are going to get announced on a Saturday afternoon while half the country is already at somebody's graduation party. Are you hearing me right now? And you want to know what hit me hardest? It was not even the trade itself. It was the reaction from inside that locker room. Players going, and I am paraphrasing here, essentially, dang. Just dang. Because Wicks was a guy. He was a teammate. And teammates do not expect teammates to get moved for late-round raffle tickets. That reaction tells you something. That tells you even the people inside that building did not see this coming, which honestly makes two of us. Okay, stay with me here, because there are two ways to look at this trade. There is the optimist position, and there is the Sal position. And here is what has genuinely thrown me off since I woke up this morning. I think those two positions might be the same today. I know, that does not happen often with me. I am not built for optimism. I am built for anxiety and cold cuts and recliner-based second-guessing. That is my whole thing. Ask anyone in Peshtigo. So here is the deal on Dontayvion Wicks. 5th-round pick, 2023 draft class out of Virginia. And let me tell you, the kid came in and he flashed right away. Burst off the line, hands, that quality where you watch a preseason rep and you go, okay, we got one here. And then his rookie year, I am going off memory, so stay with me on these numbers. I want to say around 30 catches, maybe 500 yards, 4 scores. Actually, I think I am underselling it. I believe it was closer to 39 catches, pushing close to 600 yards, which, and I cannot stress this enough, for a 5th-round rookie behind an established receiving core, that is real. That is not a phantom. That is a player showing you something genuine. And then 2024, he basically maxed the catch total. Different situation with Reed and the other pieces in the mix, but the guy kept producing, kept being a factor. And 2025, injuries clipped him a bit. The road got murkier, but he was still there. He was still a piece. You understand me? This is not a guy who flamed out. This is a young receiver with legitimate NFL athleticism and a proven track record of showing up when targeted. And we just moved him for 2 day 3 picks. Now, I want to be fair, scrupulously fair, which people who listen to this show know is not always my greatest strength. The argument for this trade exists, and I am going to give it to you honestly. The Packers are walking into this draft without a 1st-round pick, and we know why. The name rhymes with Micah Parsons. I am not going back into all that today. And without that 1st-rounder, every additional piece of capital matters. Every single one. If Wicks was not going to be a featured piece of this offense moving forward, and the evidence of the last couple of seasons suggests he was not going to be, then turning him into 2 more shots in a deep draft is defensible front office logic. I know this church. I know the Gutekunst gospel. The problem is, it still feels like selling your good hunting rifle because a newer model might be coming. Maybe the new one is better. Maybe it is. But the rifle you have has been sighted in. You know exactly how it behaves in cold weather. You know what you have got. And now some knucklehead in Philadelphia has your rifle and looks very pleased with himself. And you have got a voucher. Store credit with potential. That is this trade. And I will acknowledge, in Gutekunst's hands, store credit usually does something. Usually. But here is what I need you to hold before we get to part 2. This trade does not happen in isolation. Romeo Doubs is already gone. Wicks is gone now. The wide receiver room looks fundamentally different than it did entering this offseason. And I am hearing rumblings, Pack Nation, about more movement before draft night. And if that is true, if another piece gets moved, then what Gutekunst is constructing either comes into very exciting focus or becomes extremely alarming, depending on your constitution. Mine historically leans alarming. Stay right there. Pack Nation, let us talk about what this wide receiver room actually looks like right now. I want to be concrete about this. Jaden Reed is your number one. Full stop. He earned that. He has been one of the most underrated slot weapons in the NFL over the last 2 seasons, and I mean that sincerely. The production, the route running, the reliability, and the underneath game. Reed is a legitimate weapon, and putting a full load through him is not a downgrade for Jordan Love. It is a clarification. Now Love knows where his first read is. Now the entire offense builds from a defined hierarchy. That is not nothing. That is actually something. Matthew Golden comes in as the presumed 2, and I have been high on Matthew Golden since the day they drafted him. The athleticism, the hands, there is something real there. And the fact that they moved Wicks to open that role tells me the coaching staff believes in Golden too. So you go from Wicks at 3 to Golden at 2. Lateral move at worst. Genuine upgrade if Golden takes the year 1 leap. But here is the load-bearing but, Pack Nation. The depth behind Reed and Golden is now a legitimate question. You are thinner today than you were Wednesday morning. And in a season where Jordan Love's injury history gets raised every single week, and it will, I will do it myself. I do not apologize. You need redundancy. You need guys who can run routes and catch footballs when it matters. In November, in January, not experiments, football players. This is exactly where those day 3 picks have to deliver, because there is a version of this. Hold it in your mind. It is the good one, where Gutekunst takes those picks plus the capital from the Gary move and comes out of this draft with 2 or 3 young receivers who contribute in year 1. Not year 3, year 1. And a year from now, we are all sitting here going, oh, that is why he moved Wicks. I want to live inside that version. Now let me tell you what the other movie looks like. You have got a young pitcher, talented arm, real upside, not quite an ace, but he is on your roster. And your front office, being very front office-y about the whole situation, decides they get more value moving him for prospects than holding a guy who might never crack the top of the rotation. Fine, classic logic. And then the first prospect blows his elbow out in AAA. And the second one has an ERA that makes grown men weep into their scorecards. And you are standing in the dugout in July thinking, we had a pitcher. We had an actual pitcher. And he is having a very nice season across town. I am not saying that is what happens here. I am saying that is the risk you are accepting, and it deserves to be named. That is not doom. That is honesty. Big Sal deals in honesty and cold cuts, mostly honesty. Here is what I believe Gutekunst is doing, and I say this as a man who was fully prepared to spend this offseason in sustained panic mode and who has updated his worldview more than once since January, which I do not enjoy. He is operating from real conviction. He believes in Reed as the anchor. He believes in Golden as the next piece. He believes the picks he is stacking, Gary, Wicks, wherever else they come from, give him enough material to fix multiple holes in one draft. And historically, that approach has worked more often than it has not in Green Bay. I cannot pretend otherwise. But I am allowed to feel things, Pack Nation. I am allowed to look at this receiver room and say, we are thinner today than we were. I am allowed to say that. My feelings are valid, or so I have been told, repeatedly by people who are very tired of hearing my football opinions at 7 in the morning. You know who you are. Bottom line, Big Sal's final verdict on the Dontayvion Wicks trade, the logic is defensible. The philosophy is sound. The execution needs to show up in that draft room in 2 weeks because Jordan Love is our franchise quarterback, and he deserves to walk into September with a full receiver core and a healthy Micah Parsons when that ACL cooperates, and an offensive line that does not make me want to eat my hat. I have one hat. I am not eating it. Do not make me eat it, Gutekunst. If this show is speaking your language, subscribe, leave a review, drag somebody in who loves the Packers and cannot keep quiet about it. They will know exactly what we are. You are listening to Let Me Tell You Something on the Packernet Podcast Network. I am Big Sal. Stay loud, stay green, and for the love of everything good, let's do something with those picks.